I now call to order the regular town board meeting, August 15th, 2017. Visitors are invited to join the board members in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Councilwoman Barnum.
Here.
Councilwoman Hush-LaRay.
Here.
Councilman Purticum.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
Here.
Supervisor Seeley.
Here.
Attorney for the town.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have a, modest agenda tonight, and thank you all for being in attendance and attending. Just a few things before we get to our agenda. I'll note we have a public hearing scheduled at 7:35. This relates to a proposed law regarding homeowner assessments along Lake Ontario as authorized by state law. And we have a few other agenda items, and after my remarks, we'll have a special swearing-in ceremony that Chief Tantilla will convene. First, just a note, take a privilege as supervisor just to do this on behalf of the town. We were saddened last month to hear of the passing of former supervisor Frederick Lappel, who passed away at the age of 90. Supervisor Lappel certainly lived a life by any means of assessment that contributed a very great deal to this community and certainly far-reaching. He was born in Rochester. Fred deferred a football scholarship to Syracuse to join the Coast Guard during World War II. If you're going to defer a football scholarship to Syracuse, that's a pretty good reason to do it, I suppose. He was elected to the first class of the Monroe County Legislature in 1966, representing East Irondequoit. He would later become the Director of Civil Service and Personnel for the county. Mr. Lappel served as Irondequoit Supervisor from 1990 to 1993. During those 4 years, he addressed a number of major issues and initiatives, including the opening of the former Irondequoit Mall. Actually, one of my favorite pieces of town history that I've come across during my tenure is a press release that he issued while in office debunking the urban legend that the mall was sinking. And he very effusively and poignantly pointed out that that was not the case and pointed to some conspiracy theorists and people who were trying to compete with the mall and spread negative propaganda against it. Mr. Lappel also tackled some other very challenging issues, such as managing what was then an overflowing population of deer that was causing hundreds of motor vehicle accidents annually, and the town board worked on that issue this past summer and certainly appreciates the efforts that went in decades ago to our deer management. And we can also thank Mr. Lappel largely for helping to create our sister city relationship with Poltava, Ukraine, which we certainly still cherish today. Fred was also integral in the fundraising operation for Bishop Kearney High School. He was a 50-year member of the Point Pleasant Fire Department and served on countless other civic and non-for-profit groups. For me personally, Mr. Lappel was my first impression of a town supervisor, and in all the many ways a supervisor could influence the lives of residents in Irondequoit. However, for me, it wasn't that joyful of an introduction, as I heard Supervisor Lappel proclaim over the radio in March of 1991 that the children of Irondequoit would have to return to school after a week-long vacation due to the ice storm. So that was the first time I heard Supervisor Lappel, and he had bad news for the children of Irondequoit. But having served and combated Mother Nature this year, I can certainly appreciate what he was up against in that time. There's a portrait on the second floor of Town Hall where we pay tribute to every town supervisor in one way or the other that served Irondequoit. I'm proud to know that one day, hopefully my photograph might hang beside so many men and women who shared both the town board and my own commitment to this great town. Our thoughts are with Fred's wife, Jean, as well as the rest of the Lappel family. We're gracious enough to be joined by Fred's son, Fred Jr., tonight. We thank you for being in attendance, and thank you for all that your father did for the town. I'm going to ask everyone just to join me in rising to observe a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I hope everyone is enjoying this quickly disappearing summer. This is our busy time around the Town Hall campus, and it's been great seeing so many families up here throughout the week, that the many activities that we have. To the east, you're going to soon see the construction of our temporary DPW facility, which will serve as the home of the highway fleet for the next 2 years while we're building the new facility on Ridge Road in 104 and 590. Phase 2 of the ballpark complex is soon to be completed. That will include concession stands, bathrooms, scoreboards, dugouts for our youngsters. And if you go down to Camp Eastman, you'll be amazed at the work that's been done in the back of the park there, as we've removed the big berm and to make way for the grading of 4 new fields. It's really remarkable if you contrast it against what was there previously. A couple other notes. Our summer recreation programs wrapped up earlier this month. Our day camps saw an 11% increase in enrollment, and our free playground camps, which many of us have participated in, had the most attendance since, I believe, 2008. So thanks to all the staff who worked so hard to make it a terrific program, and to all the families and youngsters who participated. The application process for the Aronicoit Neighborhood Enhancement Program is now open. This successful initiative, now in its third year, allows residents to apply for funding for various projects throughout Aronicoit neighborhoods. NEP provides grant funding for projects that aim to enrich both quality of life and boost the identity of our many neighborhoods. And to fund the program, we will continue to draw from a fine collected from the previous owner of the former Aronicoit Mall. The application process runs through September 15th. You can visit aronicoitneighborhoods.org, call the town, 336-6029, or email ihelp@aronicoit.org. A few calendar items. Tomorrow, Wednesday, August 16th, I hope folks will join me in giving blood as we partner with the Red Cross from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can call 336-6034 or show up. We won't turn you away. Farmers Market continues every Thursday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. on the Town Hall lawn. Thank you always to our volunteers and wonderful vendors. The weather's, for the most part, cooperated this summer, and we've had great attendance. Just a reminder, there's free entertainment at the gazebo from 6 to 7:30 p.m. on Market Thursdays. Movies Under the Stars continues on Thursday, August 24th with Moana, my new favorite movie, I Can't Stop Singing. That begins at 8:45 a.m. at Town Hall. We're also looking to reschedule Finding Dory because Dory found some inclement weather back in July, and we were forced to cancel. And it would not be an August agenda if the supervisor was not reminding folks of upcoming Oktoberfest, the weekends of September 8th, September 15th at Camp Eastman in the Big Tent. For more information, visit oktoberfestny.org. And with that, I will turn it over to Chief Tantillo and invite the board members to join me at the podium.
Here's the Bible. Why don't we put them in center, then everybody's in camera view. You guys want to get closer? Yeah.
Chief tells us to move, we move.
About the only people that listen to me, right? Yeah. If I could have Sergeant Casey McLaughlin come forward, along with his family and guest. There we go. All right, excellent. Officer McLaughlin has been a police officer for 15 years. He's a certified crime scene technician. He's been trained in interview and interrogation. He's a field training officer. He's been assigned to a number of assignments in our agency, the Criminal Investigations Unit, Field Training Unit, Evidence Technicians Unit, and he has shared those experiences with all of the officers that he's worked with so they can learn from his job opportunities. Casey is a highly decorated police officer, Officer of the Year in 2011. He has a number of letters of recognition. He's been an Officer of the Month on several occasions, and he has 2 excellent police service awards for the excellent work that he does for us. In addition to working to keep the residents of Aronicoit safe, he's exceptional in his volunteer work as he volunteers his time at the Police Academy as an instructor and is a volunteer firefighter. The only thing I did not include in his resume that he submitted to me in regards to this opportunity is he is an avid New York Yankees fan. And with that,
You score yet tonight?
we will offer the oath of office.
I, Casey McLaughlin,
I, Casey McLaughlin,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will defend the Constitution
that I will defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of New York.
and of the state of New York.
I will enforce all of the laws
I will enforce all the laws
of the state of New York
of the state of New York
and the town of Arundecoit.
and the town of Arundecoit.
I will fulfill the duties
I will fulfill the duties
of the rank
of the rank
of police sergeant
of police sergeant
to the best of my
to
ability.
the best of my ability.
I will serve, protect, and guide
I will serve, protect, and guide
the citizens of the town of
the
Arundecoit.
citizens of the town of Arundecoit.
I will obey all orders,
I will obey all orders,
rules, and regulations
rules, and regulations
of the Arundecoit Police
of
Department.
the Arundecoit Police Department.
Sergeant McLaughlin, congratulations.
I'll just start off with a couple thank yous. I'd like to thank Chief Tantillo, Captain Bean, Supervisor Seeley, members of the board, and most importantly, my family for their support. I'm truly honored for this opportunity, and I look forward to continue to serve our community in my new role. Thank you.
This is the official one. You have to sign.
He's going to write his name in that paper, make it all official. Thanks very much. I'll get your Bible back.
I got it. Dave brought it.
I like it better when I sign it here. I got a good picture. Yeah. I couldn't get a good picture down.
Glad to help you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will now move on to public input. We have 3 people signed up, although as always, if you did not sign up, you are welcome to address the board on any topic. We'll ask you to do that after the 3 folks who have signed up have their chance. First up is Margaret Case. Good evening. And just say your name and your address, if you will.
My name is Margaret Case, and I live at 88 Cecilia Terrace. I'm addressing the town board on the concerns of Seabreeze Drive and Point Pleasant and area. I moved there 7 years ago after downsizing from Viewcrest Drive. I like the quaintness and the new Seabreeze Drive, which I worked on for 2 years. Since completing that project, and just so you know, it received very many awards for it. I have noticed total neglect. The bike path is slowly disappearing from lack of trimming. The weeds are so bad they're turning into trees, and the fence never got stained. And never did I see a street cleaner, which could have taken out the weeds growing out of the curb or the DIs from being clogged. Matter of fact, I have never seen a street cleaner in my neighborhood. When mowing is done, trimming is minimal. I feel if the people in charge knew what they were doing, it would have never gotten that bad. After complaints by neighbors and the town finally did something, could it be because it's an election year? If there is a complaint, a resident, including myself, cannot talk to you, Mr. Seeley. You don't return calls. We have to talk to your secretary or your assistant. and I feel that they are not qualified to answer certain questions. Can you answer any of them? I was told 3 years ago, that Pert, Cecilia, and Avondale Road on the east side would be paved. Still nothing. The town used to post a list in our libraries of roads to be paved for the year. I called your office and asked if a list was available, and I was refused. At one time, Mr. Burgeon, the paving foreman, would check roads, present them to the commissioner for approval. Now I was informed we have hired somebody to inspect the roads. Is this person paid through CHIP money or our taxes? So now we have a paving foreman, a commissioner, a deputy commissioner, and now a road inspector. 4 people to decide what roads to pave. I know this because for a brief time I worked for DPW, but returned to road work. I have been an operating engineer since 1978 and ran a paver for 30 years. I feel I have qualified to decide which roads need to be paved, and they all need paving badly. That's why our DPW should not be paving contracted jobs like West Arundecoit schools and concentrate on our roads. Seabreeze Drive is a beautiful area, and this town board in DPW should take more responsibility in taking care of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up we have, I believe it's Bill Steve of Phylon Avenue. Okay. Pat Crike, Norlane Drive. No? Okay, and if anyone else wishes to address the board in public input, you are welcome to do so now. Okay, very good. We will now move on to the financial report. Madam Comptroller?
The 2017 financial results for the town as of July 31st. Total expenditures and encumbrances are $21,855,000, equating to 64% of budget, higher than the 58.3% of the year that has elapsed. Actual expenditures are $19,216,000, and encumbrances are another $2,638,000. Included in the total expenditures of $21.9 million is approximately $2.7 million of fire-related expenditures, $1,973,000 of actual fire-related expenditures, and $744,000 of encumbered fire-related activity or expenditures. Without the fire-related expenses, the town would be at $19,137,000, or 51% of budget. Last year at this time, we were at 56.6%. So we are slightly lower, slightly better than last year at this time. The fire-related cost of $2.7 million break down as follows. Highway, $1,548,000. Sewer, $688,000. General fund, $467,000. That amount includes a $275,000 encumbrance for demolition. Storm drainage, $14,000. General fund expenses are $11,875,000, or 59.4% of budget. In that fund, the actual expenditures are $10,732,000 and encumbrances $1,143,000. The general fund includes approximately $467,000 of fire-related expenses, as I indicated above. If you were to exclude those expenses, the fund is 57% of budget. The general fund has also experienced increased overtime in the tree and solid waste programs, and that was primarily due to the windstorm cleanup effort. Collectively, the highway expenses are $4,653,000, 82.1% of budget, above the 58.3% of the year that has elapsed. The traditional yearly expenses remain prevalent, such as encumbrances for gas, fuel and equipment vehicles in Highway 1, installment debt in Highway 3, and salt in Highway 4. The encumbered and actual fire-related expenses are $1,548,000. Exclusive of those expenses, the highway would be at 54.8% of budget, favorable compared to 7 months. Other significant funds. The total library expenses of $1,470,000 include a $444,000 debt service payment for a bond anticipation note. The 61.5% expenditure percentage results from timing and should level off by year end. The sewer has expended $2,953,000, 70.9% of budget. $688,000 is fire related. Sewer would be under budget at 54.4% if fire expenses were excluded. Stormwater drainage is currently at 41.3% of budget, a total of $323,000. Included is $14,000 of fire-related costs. So the non-fire-related expenses equate to 39.6% of budget. Revenue for the general fund as of the end of July is 75.4% of budget, a total of $14,888,000. 100% of tax revenue, or $10.6 million, has been received, and pilot payments totaling $171,000 are in. Pilot payment in lieu of taxes. The recreation program revenue of $235,000 is favorable to budget at 74.9%. 2 months of sales tax totaling $637,000, or 15% of budget, and 3 months of mortgage tax equaling $161,000, or 20.6% of budget, has been received to date. The other major revenue items were not due as of the filing of this report. Included in total revenue is $1,834,000 of insurance recovery. The town received another $334,000 for building losses. The general fund revenue, exclusive of fire insurance recovery, is $13,053,000, or 66.1% of budget. The insurance recovery of $1.8 million is within the other sources of revenue line item. So now I'll offer a sneak preview of next month's general fund revenue. We will report the second quarter sales tax revenue of $955,000, and those funds were received today. The total town revenue and appropriated fund balance for the first 7 months of the year equate to 26.9%, or 79.6% of budget. Without fire insurance recovery, the receipts would be $25.1 million, or 74.2% of budget. Real estate taxes across all funds are $16.7 million. Again, that's the total for the full year. Year-to-date revenue for the library is $2,310,000, 96.6% of budget. Highway has recorded 76.4% of revenue, $4.3 million, and sewer has received $4 million, 97% of budget. This concludes my financial report for the month of July.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. I wonder if you would have given us that preview if our sales tax check wouldn't have been as favorable.
Maybe not.
It was exceeded, I think, what we expected for that quarter, so thank you for that preview. And I'll also remind board members and the public, another reason I think we're a little behind revenue relative to last year when you isolate for the fire is actually a good one in the sense that we appropriated far less fund balance in this year's budget relative to last year. So it's a smaller number to collect. So that's another reason I think it's always hard to compare apples to apples. So just make note of that. Any other questions or comments for the comptroller? Take a motion to accept the financial report.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Financial report is accepted. Madam Clerk?
Approval of minutes, July 11th, the workshop meeting.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second? Okay. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved.
July 18th, 2017, the regular town board meeting.
May I have a motion
Moved.
and a second?
Second.
And I believe Councilwoman Barnum will abstain. All those, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Councilwoman
August.
Barnum abstains. Thank you. Madam Clerk?
August 1st, 2017, the special town board meeting.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Actually, could I have those minutes moved by Councilwoman? You were not present, so I'd rather you not move the minutes. So John and Lori were present, so can I get a motion to accept the minutes?
The special town board?
Yes.
Oh, I did move.
Oh, you moved it, I'm sorry. I thought that was you. And a second?
Van Trillis.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I think we have two abstentions, Mr. Wayner and Councilwoman Hushler Ray. We will skip over the public hearing, and I believe now we can move for items for board action. Madam Clerk, please call agenda item number 2.
Item number 2, accepting the completed Arundecoit Active Transportation Plan.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Ivers, an explanation, please?
The Arundecoit Active Transportation Plan was undertaken, starting back in 2015, over the course of the last year and a half or so, a very intensive, community outreach and community engagement project was undertaken. Barton and LaJudas was the lead on the team that was leading the effort on behalf of the town. And so before you today is a resolution accepting the completed document as final. The plan that was presented at workshop last week reflects review by a steering committee, the community at large, and also the Genesee Transportation Council, which was the agency where funding was provided.
Thank you. And I'll just note, the easiest way to explain the active transportation plan, it's a blueprint or a guide for us to facilitate and encourage people to use active or passive transportation modes, particularly non-vehicular. So encouraging more pedestrian, cycling, usage of and build out of trails, et cetera. The goals of which are both for health and human, but also wanting to be good stewards of the environment. So, Carrie, very nice job on this, all the staff involved. We thank the consultants. Any questions or comments?
No, I was on the committee, and I just wanted to say the same thing that you did about Carrie Ivers. She did an excellent job in leadership on this program, and I just think it's really critical to improving the quality of life for those of us living in Arundecoit, so thank you.
Thank you.
If you go to the website, you can download the report, on which is a nice picture of former Supervisor Bello with a bike helmet on riding a bike. So,
Carrie?
thank you. Oh, go ahead, Pete.
There was a number of action items in there, and I know there's still some review, but what is some of the schedule on some of that?
The plan actually outlines some short-term activities, more mid-range, and then also long-term. But it's also designed to be flexible so that if funding streams become available either through grants or through programs at the state or federal level, that the town would be in a position to pursue those grant dollars with the understanding that there's a community-backed plan and there's a vision for long-range improvement. And so some of the items that were identified may already be started. For example, we've identified, completing sidewalk gaps, and the Titus Avenue gap was identified both in the comprehensive plan and in the early stages of this planning effort. And so that's a great example of, something being implemented. And so the recommendations in the plan would be something that we look at regularly with respect to capital improvement planning and decision-making. Neighborhood enhancement programs might also look at this plan for some ideas of what to do and how to invest, neighborhood dollars. And then we'll be looking for grant programming as well.
Yeah, because I thought the plan was excellent, and there was some really low-hanging fruit, and then there were some other items that maybe needed a little bit more to be implemented. And You know, it's one thing to have a master plan and put it on a shelf. It's obviously another thing to get it going. And
It also identifies private investment opportunities in terms of site planning, ways that at this level that better private development can encourage walkability and use of bicycle and transit as well.
And I know just an example, right now, if you're looking at trail development, we're partnering with the city of Rochester on applying for some state grant money relative to the Genesee River Trail, working with them hopefully to finish out that connection from the Seneca Park all the way down to the river. So it's one of the not low-hanging fruits, but primary trails that we really would envision in developing. So Carrie's always good about making sure we execute on these things as well. Okay, any further questions or comments? All's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 3, authorizing the supervisor to enter into land transactions contracts for the permanent Department of Public Works facility and approve the necessary budget transfer.
Have a motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Commissioner Kylie, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The resolution before the town board this evening would authorize yourself to execute a land transfer, a donation of property, and the acquisition of pieces of property for the permanent highway facility, which would be constructed east of the 590 and south of East Ridge Road. As you can see in the resolution, the associated mapping for the land transfer, approximately 10 acres of town property to be donated, and 12.4 acres of state property to be to be acquired.
Thank you. And a question for Comptroller Sealy. The funding to pick up the balance of the transfer is coming from contingency, I believe?
That's correct.
Thank you. It's the amount of $4,550. And I'll note that we did adopt a negative declaration for seeker, I believe, at last month's town board meeting regarding the construction of the permanent facility. And Bob, this will set off a process of approval now at the state level for the transfer, correct?
That is correct. So this is the last piece of the town process. After this, it would go to the Property Executive Real Estate Group in Albany, a department, a committee through New York State Department of Transportation. After that, it would go back to the region here locally of DOT and then to the Attorney General's office.
Well, it might seem simple to swap land, but anyone that knows doing real estate deals with the state of New York, it's a very laborious process and involved in, I think when Bob and I first started this back in early January, we looked at the number of hoops we had to jump through, and I think we're past turn 4, I think, and headed home, not to use bad cliches, but nice work on this, Bob. Any further questions?
Thank you.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 4, authorizing the award of temporary public works facility.
I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second?
Commissioner Kylie, an explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The resolution before the town board this evening would award the contract D, the HVAC for the temporary highway facility to be constructed here at 25 Kings Highway to M Corp Services. We had 5 bidders at this public bid, which was publicly opened, M Corp being the lowest of those 5. 5 being the lowest of those 5 bids in the amount of $89,300.
Very good. And at our previous board meeting, we approved contracts, approved bids, I believe, for site work, electric, and what was the third one?
It would be the site work, the electrical, and the building itself.
Thank you very much. Of course, the building. Okay, so this will be the final bid necessary to complete the temporary facility, which will start to go up in the next weeks. Any questions or comments? And I'll just note this. This is drawn from insurance recovery money. It's not I don't want to say tax levy dependent, but it's part of our claim, the transitional claim that we file in addition to our claim. It's the money that we're allowed to draw from a claim that kind of gets us through our transition. So it's nice that we can draw from that. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
We can fit in one more.
Yeah, let's do one
Item
more.
number 5, accepting gifts for Arundequoit's July 4th celebration.
Motion? Moved. And a second?
Second.
Deputy Commissioner Sinton, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This formally accepts gifts in support of the 4th of July festival from Senator Rich Funke and from Harrima's Marketplace specifically.
Very good. I believe Senator Funke underwrote probably most of the fireworks display, and Harrima's contributed, I believe, to our pie eating contest, among other activities. So we thank them for their support for our wonderful July 4th festival. Any questions or comments? And I'll just note that board members had any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, I believe it's now 7:35, and we can move on to our public hearing.
Public hearing 8PH 2017-1 on the matter of Lake Ontario and Connected Waterways Assessment Relief Act.
Motion to open the hearing.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. I'll just give a brief explanation, and then we'll invite anyone who wishes to address the board on this matter to speak. The flood relief package that was signed into law by Governor Cuomo, I believe in early July, in addition to providing substantial relief to homeowners, businesses, and the municipal governments, also had a provision that allowed municipalities, local governments to opt in to an optional law to provide assessment relief for homeowners impacted by high floodwaters. We received, as the flooding has pursued, we've received inquiries from residents regarding whether or not we could adjust their assessment. State law requires us to set the roll based on its March 1st assessed value. Unfortunately, much of the flooding took place after that, all the flooding primarily. So this gives municipalities the option to not withstand state law, and we've elected to put this proposal up for consideration. Just a brief overview of some of the provisions. Homeowners are allowed to apply through a form that's promulgated by the State Department of Taxation and Finance, and our town assessor serves as the conduit for those applications. The percentage loss in improved value, and I'll note it's improved value for the purposes of local law, is determined by the assessor. The folks applying for relief are required to or encouraged to prepare reports, but not limited to an insurance adjuster, real property appraiser, or broker that describes in reasonable detail the damage caused to the property by the flooding and the condition of the property following the flooding. The assessor then makes a finding of the percentage of lost improved value of the property as a result of flooding. And it's if at least 10% of lost value occurs, the assessor is authorized to make an adjustment. And that goes all the way up to 100% if it is warranted. There are cases if the assessor determines the lost value is less than that which the homeowner believed was the case. Homeowners have recourse through the Board of Assessment Review within 10 days, just as they, for the same process they would during normal tax grievance season. So I'm happy to advance this. I think it's something we should do. I know other municipalities are doing it. It was modeled largely after the state law created after Superstorm Sandy, and a number of Long Island municipalities adopted a similar provision. So homeowners I know are hurting down there, so this will give them at least a 1-year reprieve if warranted. And with that, I will invite any members of the public who wish to address the board on this public hearing to come forward. Okay, hearing none, I'll accept a motion to close the public hearing.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Item 8PH 2017-1A, authorizing the adoption of Local Law 6 of 2017 to enact the Lake Ontario and Connected Waterways Assessment Relief Act.
Motion? Moved. And a second.
Second.
So I gave an overview of that. Any questions or comments from the board?
Does this include
Just,
the school
go
district?
ahead.
Tax relief with the school taxes, just the county?
No, each taxing jurisdiction is required to adopt their own. So the county adopted theirs last week. The school district has opted, as far as I know, the school district has not opted to adopt a similar resolution. They have 45 days from enactment of this state law, which I believe was July 10th, so I've not heard whether or not they intend to do so or not.
Thank you.
Just to make sure I'm clear, so people will find out about this opportunity when they apply for help because of damage on their property? Is that how they
Yes, if
get
you-
notified?
If you've experienced damage because of flooding, high flood waters, and we'll certainly do our part to notify people about this. And folks have inquired already, but they have the ability to apply to us for relief, and it needs to be documented, and that's what's encouraged. And then our assessor, Ms. Mineo, makes a determination, and they have recourse if there's disagreement. But ultimately, if there's damage or loss of value, assessed value because of the high flood waters, they'll be able to receive a 1-year adjustment in their assessment and tax levy relevant to town taxes.
Good. Thank you.
Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, I think we can now move back to agenda item number 6.
Item number 6, accepting gifts for farmers market.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Deputy Commissioner Sinton, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This formally accept gifts in support of our farmers market from Megan Flanagan Mills Farmers Insurance, Edward Jones Investments, Flower City Yoga, Arundicoit Pediatrics, and Bateman Orthodontics.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 7, authorizing the supervisor to enter into an agreement with vendors for fall recreation programs.
Motion?
Moved.
A second, please.
Second?
Deputy Commissioner Sinton.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This allows you to enter into contracts with various vendors for our upcoming fall programming and our youth and family recreational program. I will add that these contracts were available at the board workshop for the town board to review.
Thank you, and they're also appended to the resolution. Any questions or comments from Mr. Sinton? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 8, authorizing attendance at the 20th Annual Great Lakes Leadership Seminar.
May I have a motion
Moved.
and a second?
Second.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is an opportunity for Captain Mark Bean to attend an executive leadership program offered by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It encompasses their four major field offices within the Great Lakes region. We're very pleased that Mark was selected as a candidate for this very competitive training opportunity, and the cost of the program will be covered within our training budget for the police department.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Chief on this resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 9, authorizing the abolishment and establishment of a traffic control device on Wall Road.
Motion, please.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Chief, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. What this resolution will do is abolish the current stop sign for westbound traffic on Wall Road at Hulda Park. And it will further establish the stop sign for westbound traffic on Wall Road at Andrea Lane, really creating a three-way stop sign for that intersection, offering, I think, additional clarity for what the drivers and operators of motor vehicles are intended to do there.
Thank you, Chief. And I'll note, over the course of many years, stop signs and traffic devices have put in place in this town, and there's not always a rhyme or reason to it. And thank you for you and Mr. Sinton for trying to reinstall some, or recalibrate and provide some, a little bit more order and logic behind it. Any questions or comments for Chief? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 10, authorizing the placement of a traffic control device on Vinyl Avenue.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second?
Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The recommendation with this resolution is to place a stop sign on Vinyl Avenue going northbound at Reynolds Avenue, which will create a three-way stop sign intersection for all motor vehicles to stop at. Currently, that does not exist for northbound traffic.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 11, authorizing an appointment to the Deer Management Program Board.
Motion? And a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Weiner. This resolution pursuant to a recently enacted town law regarding our deer management program authorizes the appointment of a resident to the Deer Management Program Board. This program board is newly created and provides governance and oversight to the Deer Management Program. And we had several residents interested in serving, and happy to advance the name of Marcy Tiberio, someone who's interested in the program. She is not a hunter, which I think was the preference of a lot of folks who asked us to pursue a board like this, but she's very interested. She's familiar with the issue and the program and wanted to serve, so happy to recommend her. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 12, authorizing the amendment of the I-Square LLC payment in lieu of taxes agreement.
Motion
Moved.
and a second?
Second.
Thank you. This resolution would authorize and support the amendments to the 2013 pilot for I-Square LLC, a 25-year payment in lieu of taxes agreement with COMITA, the County Monroe Industrial Development Agency. It was brought to our attention, the desire by the owners, Mike Nolan and his wife Wendy, to amend the pilot agreement, citing market conditions and a need to enhance the footprint of the project. There were several parking concerns, and the owners looked to acquire additional properties in order to build out with the original goals of the program as outlined in the 2013 pilot agreement. I'll note after receiving an application or a letter from the project owners, we convened a meeting with the other taxing jurisdictions, COMITA and West Arundecoit School District, who certainly has a big piece in this as they are the largest percentage of the tax levy. We advanced a proposal to the owners who, through an email on Friday, said that they were in acceptance and in favor of these proposed amendments. I'll just give a few rundowns. Some involve provisions of the pilot, others involve certain provisions regarding adding parcels to the pilot. It includes removal of the provision that does not allow the owners to challenge their assessment. It modifies the second and third milestones relative to construction of the buildings. It amends the project completion date by 1 year to the end of 2021, provided that it includes the entire original square footage as outlined in the pilot. It also has a milestone midway through the term in the end of 2019, requiring at least 50,000 square feet of the construction of a town center as outlined in the original plan. It also modifies the recapture provisions in the pilot. This was done in consultation with COMITA, who informed us that it would not violate their recapture policy if it was burnt out, as we say, or extinguished after 10 years. So this supports that provision. And relative to the inclusion of additional parcels, which is parcels on Lorraine Drive, as well as parcels that incorporate the old Vercuzzi's farm stand on Titus Drive. The town board would support adding these properties to the pilot, so as long as I-Square takes title to the parcels. I-Square must obtain approval from the town board to rezone, given the current zoning is not really, does not mesh with the current town center model, so there would need to be an application to rezone. And there would need to be site plan approval before the town planning board, before they are added to the pilot. Upon inclusion of the additional parcels, the pilot base payments in Schedule 1 of the existing pilot will be increased to reflect the land value of each parcel. And there's a provision requiring all buildings and structures currently located on the additional parcels must be demolished within 1 year of being added to the pilot. And this authorizes me to send this resolution to COMITA and ultimately at their board's discretion, but they have signaled a willingness and a support of these proposed amendments as well. Any questions or comments?
This was approved by ourselves, subject to our vote, and as well as the school district.
Yes, and the school district has expressed support as well. I don't want to speak for them, but I expect them to pass a similar resolution in the coming weeks as well. And I'll just note the town board has always felt that the completion of this project lies in the best interest of the town. So happy to advance this resolution tonight and to continue the project. further questions or comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item 13, approving the special event license for the Fleet Feet Sports Yellow Jacket Racing's Rochester Marathon, full and half.
Motion?
Move.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Okay, this concludes our body of work for tonight's town board meeting. There will be a special town board meeting and public hearing on Monday, August 28th, 2017 at 7:35 at the Pine Grove Senior Center on Pine Grove Road. That will be for consideration of a emergency infrastructure project along the lake due to flooding. Our next workshop meeting is Tuesday, September 12th, 2017, at 4 p.m. here in the Broderick Meeting Room. Next regular town board meeting, Tuesday, September 19th, 2017, 7 p.m. here at the Broderick Meeting Room. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Arundecoit Town Board on ICAT 12, Arundecoit's government access channel.